Man, I can't believe a grasshopper just jumped out of here. Have bugs ever frustrated you in the garden? Well, let me get this in the ground and let's talk about bugs. And a lot of times when we think of bugs, we think about whatever ate most of this leaf. Is that a grasshopper? Is that a cricket? Is that a slug? And if it is grasshoppers or crickets or slugs, what do we do about it? And yes, it didn't matter what I did. The vine borers got in here, but I also see another one of my nemesis. I do have grasshoppers out here, and the birds do help a lot, but they eat their fair share. And yeah, we've got crickets. They hide out pretty good. You can play catch with the crickets. If they get real bad, I suggest you use some neem oil, some Dawn dishwashing soap with a little water in there. It's a good contact spray. No matter what you do, the more chemicals you put on your garden, the more chances you are to hurt the life in the soil. And right next to that, we've got a roly-poly. And I've got a bunch of people saying those really hurt their plants. For the most part, these guys break down the mulch, so I'm really happy to have them in the garden. One of the reasons we like to take our tomatoes before they're completely ripe is because of the bugs. Although that one is in pretty good shape. Let's see what else we have. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off too. They're almost completely ripe, but see? See right here, because I went ahead and left that out here, I've got something made a little nest on this tomato. I think it's gonna be fine, but yeah, there's some kind of little bug in there. Don't want that on my tomato. Burrowed a little hole in there. So waiting for it to become completely vine ripe, I probably lost this one. We'll cut into it and see what we have. That's a determinate. Got a couple nice ones here. And since we started using the deep mulch and stopped using chemicals, I put up with some holes here and there. But I just see one of our critters. Right here's a harlequin beetle. We got a pair, got another one down in there. This is an arugula. They're chewing the heck out of it. These aren't as bad as the stink bugs, so you can just catch them and you can dispatch them pretty easy. Neem oil works pretty good. Dawn dishwashing soap and a little water works pretty good. But those are contact sprays. You want to make sure you get contact. I think we're going to do okay. But that's one of the reasons that I succession plant, and I plant very heavy. There are things out here that like what we like to eat, but there's a lot of things out here that are very beneficial. And I need my bumblebees to keep working. It's going to be pretty good size. But one of the reasons I plant so heavy is I know I'm going to share some. And let me see if I can catch this guy. So this is a June beetle, and he's not doing anything to hurt the garden. His grubs, they eat mulch. And they fly around looking for mates, where those little Japanese beetles are about the same color, but a lot smaller. And they eat a lot of things. So you gotta kinda know what the bugs are that you have in your garden. And I'm really telling you, there's more beneficial bugs than not. And by not spraying, we get a bunch of dragonflies and they eat their weight in mosquitoes. I always ask why we have buckets of water around the garden. And it really is just to let the chlorine evaporate out of the water, and that helps protect the life in the soil. I'd love to say I was a genius, but I was reading an article the other day. It suggested that you put buckets of water in the garden to help attract frogs and toads, and the frogs and toads eat a ton of snails. Even with that slug bait down, around 2 of our okra, you can see some holes here. They've got a little slug damage on them. So in my book, the more amphibians we can attract to the garden, the better off we're gonna be. You know, we've done just a quick walk around the garden and we've seen all kind of different bugs. But what the main thing is that we can't see is that life in the soil. The bacteria, the fungus, They make the enzymes that break down the rock that brings the nutrients to the plants. So whatever you do on top of the mixed mulch, you're going to affect that life underneath. And that life underneath is what we're promoting. I think I'm going to have to come out here and pick some more. This is why we do it, because it tastes great. You can do this too. Now, I can worry a lot about bugs, or I can eat tomatoes. I ain't gonna eat tomatoes. Here's another strategy. When we do spray with BT, and that keeps the worms off for the most part, but every time it rains you got to come back and spray a little more. And we do get holes in our collards, but we still get enough good leaves, and we can clean up these with the holes in it. We're still able to eat off of these. Now, I did see a couple small spiders, but I didn't get any of the big ones, and they eat a lot of bugs. They're hidden in here somewhere. But I'm going to tell you, if we get an infestation of blister beetles or grasshoppers or anything else that's completely destroying the garden, sometimes you got to go medieval. Try to do that as little as possible. You can do this too, and sometimes you got to share a little bit, but that's okay. We do it because it tastes great. Without the chemicals, you can just come out in the garden and eat. Till next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.